Welcome to a continuation of the futuristic fantasy series Humanity's Evolution. Today, I'm going to read Part 6. "So how long have you been studying the 21st century?" Gershom asked me when we were alone. I took a deep breath and cleared my throat. 6 centuries, I said, steering myself for the inevitable look of surprise. Gershom blinked a few times, but to his credit, he didn't show any other outward reaction. It was very unusual for a little dragon to stay in one field of study for that long. The average member of our species typically left after 3 centuries of study. A little dragon could study whatever they wanted for as long as they wanted, but historically, our people lose interest in a topic after 300 years. A new challenge is needed. I was an anomaly in that regard. "How long have you been studying?" I asked, turning the tables. 2.5 centuries, Gershom said as his dark eyes stared right into mine for a long moment. The man then nodded his head like he was finally grasping the answer to a puzzle. "It all makes sense now," he said. "Excuse me?" I asked him, confused by his manner. His face broke out into a smile. "I'm considered one of the foremost experts on human societies before the 21st century, but none of that mattered during your lecture. The way you approached the topic was truly unique, and it had nothing to do with your knowledge. It had all to do with your passion for the subject." I wasn't sure if he was insulting me or complimenting me. "It's a compliment," he said, reading my mind. "Rarely have I come against a little dragon who put that much of themselves into their work. Have you been that passionate in all your fields of study?" Passionate is not a word that is usually used to describe the dedication I harbor for my work. Obsessiveness would be more accurate to other little dragons' way of thinking. I found his viewpoint unique. I guess I've always been a thorough person. I like to really study something until I feel there's nothing else to offer. But to be honest, the 21st century has held my interest more than any other. "Why?" he asked, a truly curious look in his eyes. "It is far less remarkable than the ages of enlightenment. I'm sure you've heard how many refer to it as the last truly barbarous era." I nodded my head. It was no secret how the 21st century was regarded. It was the height of our physical existence, a time when we were still out for ourselves and embraced this stage as the pinnacle of all evolution, I quoted. "Yes, I'm aware of those opinions." "Then why study it?" he pressed. "Because it marked the beginning of the end of our obsession with the physicality of our form and world," I said, shrugging my shoulders. "We were seriously asking how could we make life better for us overall as a species. Many of our ancestors were exploring practical options for how to improve all aspects of society." Gershom wasn't convinced. "But the efforts were unorganized and did not eliminate the causes of our ancestors' troubles. In fact, I think some organizations thrived on the existence of those problems, so there was no motivation to really change things." "Growing pains," I said, and earned a strange look from Gershom. "Our ancestors were just beginning to realize that there was more to life than the physicality. They were leaving a stage of infancy. It isn't easy for a toddler to walk, but eventually they do." "Well, history agrees with you," Gershom conceded, "and only a fool argues with history." That ends Part 6 of Humanity's Evolution. Next week is Part 7. And if you simply can't wait until then to hear how the story goes, feel free to visit my website, www.reneeannhughes.com, to read Humanity's Evolution in its entirety, as well as the continuing story, Social Conundrums. If you would like to contribute to this series, please feel free to become a Patreon. Details for joining are on my website, and also please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss any new videos. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.